Counting backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, if it's Tuesday, it could mean only one thing, and that one thing is that it is time for Comic Book School Live, the only show that talks about the craft and business of making comics. Actually, there's tons of them. This is just one of many, and we're probably not even the best one. And I'm going to bring on my guest host, my good friend Mike. We should be honest. Like we're like a middling show. Right?
Yeah, we're mid-range somewhere.
Mid-range, yeah. Low followers, but we're going to get our follow count up because we have some what I would consider heavy hitters tonight, Mike.
Oh, I like that. I think we should get up at least to tens of followers.
Tens of followers. You know, Mike, from the intro, you can see that we went to Casablanca, Morocco. That is not a joke, Mike. That is actually true. We were invited to go and talk about making comics in Casablanca, Morocco, and I have brought on some of the individual artists and contributors who joined us there, and I even have a little video clip, Mike, of the organizer of the show talking about the importance of the show. How does that sound?
Oh, it sounds like an awesome show.
Yeah, so for context, my name is Buddy Scalera. I'm a comic book writer, probably not your favorite comic book writer, but one nonetheless. Mike Fasolo, 3-time Emmy Award-winning television writer. Probably your favorite. Probably your favorite. Probably if they had to narrow it down, they would be like, Mike's our favorite.
Speaking of our 50.
Speaking of our favorites, a man who matched your colors tonight, the guy who organized our show. He's practically your twin, Darren Sanchez, Mike.
It's like looking in a mirror, Darren.
It's like looking in a mirror.
Exactly. So, I just need the robe and I'm all set.
That's right. Well, you need to reserve it. He has it every Tuesday, Darren.
I could have stolen the one from the Four Seasons, but I wasn't sure who was going to get billed for that. So
Mike, that's a clue. That's Darren doing a little bit of like check there. We stayed at the Four Seasons, and we stayed with our good friend Chen.
Hey,
what's up? Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot to put in the applause. Sean said that he would only come on if I did that. Chen. Yeah, he said he would only come if he had a round of applause. And Matteo, because he got applause, I'm giving you a different type of applause.
Yeah, I was expecting the music.
All right, so Darren, I am going to put you on the spot here. I want you to explain to our viewing audience exactly what we did when we traveled halfway around the globe to Morocco to talk about comics, although I've kind of done it already, but why don't you do it in your own words?
Sure. We were asked by the Moroccan Ministry of Culture to bring some comic book talent to their youth book fair. It was the inaugural book fair, and it was a little tough to find people to come because the short notice. But so just counted on my friends, and we had a great time out there, and we got to bring American comics and some of what we do with comic book school, and did sketches for people, and we did live podcasts. But basically, we brought the comic book show to Casablanca for 4 days, and they were 4 long days. We really put in some hours, but the crowds were great. It was a lot of young people, kids, teenagers. Just a lot of people, high energy. We did a lot of signings, and we had a great time.
I think it was a phenomenal time, and I've got some images to share, some photos, some memories. But first, Sean, you went there. You've been to hundreds of conventions. Can you just talk about what this convention experience was like in Morocco?
Well, I guess the biggest difference is that the conventions here are just kind of like privately run by, like, a lot of times they're mom and pop operations. Over there, it's run by the Minister of Culture. So it's kind of like a state-run thing. And they kind of, because they have big funds and it's a big initiative, and they put out the red carpet. So it was like a big deal. And since this is kind of like one of the first ones, it's probably a bigger deal than it usually is. So that's, the biggest thing. And also the accommodations all the way were just first rate. So it's just better treatment than we usually get here in the States. But,
it really was. And Matteo, you are a guy that is not traditionally known as a comic book creator. You're an animator. You do advertising art, but I have to tell you, they treated all of us like rock stars. They were treating you like a rock star. Did you feel like a rock star?
Absolutely, yes. That was kind of overwhelming, to say the truth, because all these people of all ages, from very young children to adults, parents and teachers, all the schools coming together, they probably, it's kind of funny, but they probably thought we were not only comic book artists, but we were really Marvel movies actors. Seriously, because they kind of mixed up the two things, the comic book artist world with the movies and everything together, and they were really treating us like VIPs from Hollywood. Everything from the traveling to the hotel to the everything, literally everybody pushing to get an autograph, a signature on their posters, on their postcards, and the, I don't know, it was fantastic. It was beautiful, really, because everybody was super excited and curious and interested, and I think that this kind of welcoming situation was kind of unique, really.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
And I think the thing that I would like to impart to our viewers is that when we went there, they really went out of their way, because there's not often kind of talent that we just sort of take for granted in this area. You go to San Diego, you see enough celebrities and you see enough big name artists, they sort of start to blend in. Here, it was like Beatlemania, right, Darren? At a certain point when we were trying to get out of there, it's hard to describe. We have some photos, but there was literally a moment there where we were like, number one, I've never signed this many autographs in one weekend than I did my entire life combined.
Well, I have to confess, I did tell them that we were the cast for the next movie. So
I knew that. That's why.
No, they knew who we were, and I made it, clear to whoever I was talking to, or whenever I got a chance to speak, that I'm just an editor writer kind of guy, and we're just comic book artists, but that's what they wanted to see, and that's who they thought we were, and they really enjoyed our classes that we gave. I think they could tell that we knew what we were talking about, because one thing about this audience is that even the kids in Casablanca, they're trilingual. They speak English, they speak Arabic, they speak French. Some of them even speak Spanish and or Italian. So these are smart kids, and they're not like addicted to their cell phones like they are in the U.S. They're basically paying attention and asking really good questions, making us think before we answer. What I got out of it is that they really appreciated us just going all that way, and they probably half the ones that we signed for asked me, "How are you enjoying our country?" And that's just a whole different vibe, I think, than we're used to.
Yeah,
And
I mean, half asked the question, the other asked, "Are you Sean Chen?" And I would say, "Yes, I'm Sean Chen." So I would like to note that this was one of our guides, Eunice. Thank you for being our guide, Eunice. You helped keep us safe. This is what was amazing about the Moroccan team, Darren, that helped organize this was they had translators available to us. They had tour guides available to us. And Eunice, who I'm so grateful because he really just helped keep us on the right track, not going down the wrong alleys, right, Sean? He took care of our wives.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you go overseas and you get a guide, it's usually those guides. They may not be as valued to the people who brought you there, but for us, it's our closest connection to the locals. And if we want to know what it's like to live there, these are the one or two people that you're actually seeing there that can actually fill you in on what it's like to live there. So they're actually very important people.
They are very important. And speaking of, I'm gonna grab this, Mike. I'm gonna share some slides of pictures. Let's see if I can find it. Talk amongst yourselves, because apparently the PowerPoint is not working again. Mike, feel free to ask some questions. Bluff for some time for me.
Oh, yes. Well, Casablanca, did you go see the Rick's Club American?
All right, we're tired of your questions already. So here it is. Let's see. How come it's not going full screen?
that was on the list, Mike, but we never made it out there.
Oh, well, that's okay. Next time.
All right, let's see. Hopefully this will work nicely. Thanks for bluffing for time, Mike. You did great.
Thanks.
All right, so here we go. So Darren, first, you explained that this was a youth book fair. Why did they want comic book readers there? Do you remember?
Well, frankly, the crowd of vendors that they had were all publishing houses, just showing off their stuff. There wasn't a lot of talent. There wasn't a lot of draw. It was a little dry, actually. So they wanted something that could be the tent pole for the event. So we had a lot of hi, Teresa. So we had a lot of pressure to be entertaining. That's why I planted the questions, with the people to ask you to sing for us, but yeah, they wanted to bring comic books to Morocco because they're not really easy to get there. And there's a big audience for it. They love the movies. And this could be the beginning of a lot of comic book people going there, and possibly a lot of comic book work being sold there. So,
well, and we should give a quick shout out to our host, Ayoub Qanir, who was nice enough to meet with Darren and me on Sunday, and we recorded this video that none of you have seen yet. So I'm going to air it. So stand by. Let's hope this works.
And so the original idea was just like, hey, could you please introduce us or invite some of your collaborators, some of the illustrators from some of these big editing houses, Marvel, DC. And I said, sure, let me see what I can churn up. And when things started to kind of take shape and things started to kind of become more tangible, I realized that it was very important that we didn't just bring these artists in a generic, standardized environment, but that we actually created a platform and a space where we were honoring the comic book form, the comic book culture, back to the source, back to the origins, somewhere where the artists were going to feel special and the visitors were going to feel special. And, you know, we've had some challenges making it happen, but luckily we had the support of the ministry in the back, you know, giving us carte blanche, as they say, allowing us to go crazy and take risk and do something that, as you guys saw, was never been done before. And we are really happy with the result. And that's how it all came together. You know, it was never a straight shot from the beginning. I knew I wanted to make something special of it. I knew I wanted to make an impact of it for the artists, for the audience, for the ministry. Just kind of pause time. You know, if I was going to get involved, I wanted to make sure that it was going to be a big bang, and I think we hopefully did just that.
All right, what do you guys think?
Yeah, Ayoub made an amazing job, really unbelievable. The stand, the area he gave us was. Do you remember, guys, the moment we entered with the with that crazy beautiful music and all the huge posters with the comic book pages and the covers and the all the it was like a modern museum of comic book, and with a super cool and elegant also twist, because it was really fine, elegant. It was just beautiful, and we all went like, whoa. we didn't expect something like that, really.
Yeah, I felt like it was like a display in a wax museum or something, you know, that it was red carpet and it wasn't just generic art on the wall. It was Ariel's art and Sean's art and Mario's art and the guys who were there. You know, that showed a lot of care in what they did, you know, especially since a lot of the stuff they had to find themselves and use. I think they used AI to make them high resolution enough to make those big displays out of them.
Yeah, and this is the entry into what was essentially Darren had described as our booth. So this is at a convention, and the rest of the convention, everybody had normal tables and booths, and Darren said, we're going to have a big booth. And you can see way off in the distance there, that's the front stage where we were doing the educational. And you can see one of our artists over here. You can see a reflection of the Deadpool trade paperback that I worked on. Sean was working over here. I have a couple other photos. Now, what was amazing about this is you did walk into an experience. It was like walking into virtual reality. This is another shot. This is a shot from the stage. That's Ayoub, our organizer. And you can see, you know, those bridge railings and an enthusiastic crowd. There were constantly lines outside right there, and they literally had to get additional security and crowd control to keep control of the lines.
Yeah, they capped it off at whatever number they decided to cap it off at, but there was always a line outside, and at the end of the last day, like you said, buddy, I hope they got this on film, but at the end of the last day, we stayed a little longer to sign some more things. But when it was time for us to go, we just had to get up and go. And so many people were like, please sign one more thing. And we were literally being pulled out of there by security, like like the Beatles at Shea Stadium when they're, trying to run out to their car or whatever. It was weird. Like Matteo said, we felt like getting the Hollywood treatment, but
this is like nothing for Sean Chen, though. I mean,
he was the only
Queen.
yeah.
He's dealt with this enough.
He's dealt with this stuff enough. So let me take you guys through some additional photos. There was another day I asked Ayoub to do this with the crowd. You can see it at a certain point. People were sitting on the floors, and then they made the move, but that room was packed. This was some of the live art. Now, for those of you who have attended comic book school at New York Comic-Con, Long Beach, Boston, Philly, this is the familiar storytelling on the page. But we had such a wide stage. We had 3 artists drawing at the same time. We had the giant screen. There's Sean and Ariel Olivetti. There's Darren talking in the background. Sean, what was it like for you compared to what we typically do in New York? Because you've done New York with me almost every year since the first year.
Well, I guess a lot of times with the New York shows, we kind of play second fiddle to the cosplay stuff that's going on. This one was all about us, so it was a great stage. It was all the great equipment and the video stuff, and I just felt like it was a way more professional operation. And of course, the crowd is really engaged. Like they want to learn this stuff. They were listening the whole time, and so it was just a pleasure to teach to an audience that was very receptive.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like we were the main attraction and they were coming to learn. So I think that was pretty exciting. I thought what was also very interesting was for non-native English speakers, like English as a second language. Like Matteo, you obviously, you have great facility. You live here in the United States, so your English is perfect. But in a lot of ways,
ma il mio italiano è better. My italiano è molto meglio.
But in a lot of ways, it was easier for some of the other artists to speak in their native language to explain an idea. And then translators, this particular translator, what was she translating into? Was it Arabic or French? I can't remember.
This one is Jihad, and she speaks almost perfectly Italian. So she was helping Mario, Roberto, and myself as well to translate from Italian to Arabic when someone couldn't understand exactly the English language. Although we have seen little children, like even 5-year-old children, speaking a perfect English. That was crazy. Yeah. And although Jihad was really, really, really helpful, always with us. She never left. She was always very precise and ready to help. And there was another interpreter. I don't remember her name, but
I might have some photos. So let me take you through. You can see here. There's the camera. They're recording everything. So let me take you through. This is Darren. Why don't you explain what we're doing here? Me, you, and Sean, and then who's in the background there?
Well, one of the things that we did for our podcasts, we did a daily podcast at the end of the day from 4:30 to 6. And then we would have a surprise guest call in from the States, someone who wanted to go to Casablanca, but either didn't have the time or was preoccupied with some other obligation. So we had Fabian call in. This is Fabian Nicieza. And we declared Thursday to be Deadpool Day. And you can see by your T-shirt, buddy. Mm-hmm. But Fabian told the crowd basically the story of how he and Rob Liefeld co-created Deadpool and several other characters. And he took some questions from the crowd. And we got to hear the story about chimichangas, how that became a thing with Deadpool, and just a lot of random stuff and some really good questions from the audience. But Fabe's always fun to have on the show, and having him call in from New Jersey all the way to Casablanca was a lot of fun.
It was a big thrill for the audience. You can see me trying to get them to scream a little bit. Sean, this is a cool shot of you. I think what were you doing here? You were giving feedback to somebody's portfolio?
Looks like I was doing push-ups. Yeah, this guy. That's one thing about the locals there. There's a tremendous amount of talent, and I don't think they would have an outlet. I mean, it's all like fan art because there's no industry there. A lot of them like anime, mangas, and they're really inspired by that. But this guy's stuff is particularly good. So if we ever do anything, I think we got to use them because, I think one of you took his card, so we're going to keep in touch. But yeah, there's a lot of great talent. It was great to see. They don't really have a comic book industry there, but you can see like the love for the medium. It's going to break through, and it's gonna manifest in some form.
Sean, what is that headshot? Did you draw that at the show?
That's one of those things that Ayoub took from my Instagram and blew up and made a big display out of. So that original, that's the size of a business card, and then they blew it up really big. So it's great to go in there and see all my artwork. Like the greatest hits on my Instagram, just blowing up really big, and I was not expecting that, but it was really touching to see that.
I bet. I mean, that's got to be good for the ego. Darren, what happened here? You've got you guys created an original character?
Oh yeah, that was that's actually an exercise that I do it with my the classes that I teach here in New York on Saturday mornings to a bunch of sixth graders. But we always create superheroes. So when we did the panel up in Casablanca, I wanted to create a Moroccan superhero that was authentic and created by the people of Morocco. So whenever you create a character, there's always a bunch of questions that you have to ask yourself as you're trying to, go down the line and narrow it down as to what kind of character it is. So I just kind of boiled down those questions, and I would ask random people in the audience all these different questions, and from their answers, we came up with Hada, and we have personality, we have powers, we have backstory, we have all kinds of stuff. And the cool part about this is that we had Sean and Mario Del Pino, sorry, doing the art for this. And normally in class, I'm doing the art on the dry erase board, and it's not nearly that good. But so it really wasn't a cool thing. And we have this character, and we have a male superhero that we did the day before, and we're in talks right now to possibly do a comic featuring these two characters.
Yeah, so Morocco has I only have this. I don't know, Darren, if you took photos of the others, but I only had this one. This is on the WhatsApp stream. We had our own little green room behind where we were able to sit and chill out and relax. It's rare at any convention that you get to do that, and it was guarded, so nothing would get stolen. So we got to sit back there. This is Mario doing the storytelling on the page. You were able to see Ariel and Sean, and this is a shot of Mario. And of course, the audience was completely enraptured by this. This is Darren explaining some topic. I don't know, Darren, something very, very important because you're using the hand. So I know that it has to be important.
And it's apparently funny because you're smiling. So
no, I just was smiling because I knew they were taking the picture, and I just thought, one of us should look happy.
But he's looking right at the camera.
I was looking, they had a tray of Twinkies there, and I was like, oh, the Twinkies for me. So they were able to do that. So there's more of storytelling on the page. Don't worry. This isn't all I have. I don't know what it was, but I was probably telling people to settle the heck down. I don't know what I was saying, but I just like that expression. Somebody took that, and I like that one. Some fun photos. Sean and Darren there giving us a thumbs up, looking happy. You couldn't wipe the smile off Sean's face all week. He was very happy. Right, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely. Between me and what is it? Roberto was the one that smiles all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Roberto, yeah, Roberto's like, he was Mr. Smiles. The photo on the left was funny because that was the Minister of Culture, and I asked them to all get in a photo and get into fighting poses. So there was some sort of government official there, and Our host was like, "How did you get them to do that?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's just a little fat guy says get in this pose, and I guess you get in that pose."
You didn't know you were talking to the president of Morocco, you know?
Right? Yeah. So anyway, when they bailed me out of the prison, yeah, they bailed us out of the prison. Okay, so what else do we have? They were filming everything, Sean. I don't know if you were even aware, but they were filming you guys constantly. Hold on. Yavil Gachette has my bro smiles everywhere. Still looking good, guys. Still very good looking guys. I'm sorry. Very good looking guys. You guys are good looking guys. So they were recording things. I don't know. I think this was actual TV because we did make it to the TV news, right?
Yeah, we were on the news, I think, every day. So because the people who came the last day were asking Ayoub, why can't they stay another day? You know, I just found out about this, and Ayoub would tell them it's been on the news for 4 straight days. You know, so yeah, I think we were on every day while we were there.
I think we should still be on after we're gone.
Yeah, in reruns.
Yeah. So here's the thing: if you take a look at how nice the setup is. This is, I guess, the equivalent of Artist Alley, right, Sean? Like you had a platform, you had your own area, you were surrounded by your art. How was that for you?
Well, if you're lucky at a show, you get to be in the VIP area, which is not just like the regular table. So this is like raised up, and there's plenty of space. And I also had like 1 or 2 people guarding the table at all times for crowd control. In the beginning, those kids would be so enthusiastic that they'll hop up on the stage and they'll just crowd around the table, and they come around me the other side, and no one's wearing masks. So I felt a little scared about that. So the next day they had the crowd control manage everything. They put up all the barriers and stuff, and kept it running like an well-oiled machine. So
yeah,
like
we know how much you
school bus
love
loads of children will drop by.
Yeah, and we know how much you love when people crowd around you, Sean. That's something that
the drawings.
You've always loved. You're always like, please nudge my arm while I'm drawing. So this is Mario doing his drawing, and then this is Roberto Poggi. He is a well-known inker, and you have little children line up. I think there's another one there. He is inking, and you can see then they eventually roped off the line. I think they did that the second day, right, Sean, where they roped off the line to give people a little bit of breathing space. And people just watched in rapture as you guys drew, as he inked. It was pretty amazing.
Well, they also had a setup where there was a camera in the ceiling looking down on the table. And so on the big screen behind the stage, they would be showing the artists, just kind of drawing. You could see like a top-down view of what they were working on. Whenever we weren't doing a class or using that's what they showed is what was going on at the tables. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing how they were able to show the process. This is Darren talking to people. I think did you dive into the crowd after that, Darren, and then crowd surf?
Yeah, but they dropped me because they weren't ready for that shit in Casablanca. I should have warned them, but I don't remember what we were talking about in that. Looking now, I see that Ariel and Sean. That's when we were creating the characters. So that must be when we created. And you kept telling me, look at the monitor in front of you. The monitor in front of you. Because I kept
I was trying to be helpful, and Matteo was furiously making animations and updating slides so that we could look good.
Right.
Poor Matteo was always working in the green room.
Yeah. So,
poor me. I was also at the same time. I was also taking pictures because all of these pictures I've taken all.
Are these your? I didn't know whose pictures are you.
So with one hand I was preparing the slides, with the other hand I was taking pictures.
Is this buddy saying no more pictures? No more pictures.
No, we were doing some kind of a surfing dance. I think we had to demonstrate like a surf dance. Buddy used a 2-hand method. So
I was actually describing the artificial curvature of the Silver Surfers board.
That's right.
So that. Because the board was artificially cartoonishly curved, and Yvelle's right. We are movie celebs. Oh wait, it was only to Sean, so I guess Sean's a celeb.
Vel, you could have been there, buddy.
There is Ariel, who this is a good example, right, Sean, of the kids literally just. It looks like a stage photo. Like, okay, kids crowd around in an uncomfortable way around the artist, and there's the photo.
You could tell Ariel's a dad because he handled that really well. You know, they were crowded around him pretty much the whole show. He was a big hit, and it always seemed to be like the young ones. You can see our host in the background there.
That's right.
That's Yamina. But Ariel had a great time. He always had a crowd. I mean, all the guys always had a crowd. But
they did have a crowd.
Particularly close to Ariel. Right.
They were very close. Sean, this is what it was, right? Like you could feel their body heat on you.
Yes. They kept me warm. Yes.
They kept you warm. That was good. Hold on. We have an actually legitimate question here. Let's jump into the question. Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics, asks, with there being such a limited comic reading culture in Casablanca, Morocco, do you think indie creatives should make efforts to engage the local community? Darren, I'm going to throw this one first over to you. What do you think indie creatives should be doing to engage the Moroccan community? And then I'm going to go to you, Sean, and then to you, Matteo.
Well, there's a problem there in that there's not great distribution. So there's no like direct market or anything like that. So if you can reach the audience directly through Kickstarter or just social media where they can find a way to order your books that way, there's an issue of mailing and what the cost would be to mail, but there is a potential audience there, so it's something to consider. I know that Buddy and I have a few meetings coming up to be doing some comics in Morocco. So yeah, Vic, good question. Thanks for the question, man.
Yeah, Sean, what are your thoughts about Casablanca?
Well, I think the fact that they don't regularly read comics or they don't have them there, I think that's something like there's territory. There's like a lot of room for growth. But in particular, like you have to kind of look at your own comic and see whether it'll fit culturally. It's a very different culture. So, like I think for the most part, like the women are more covered up than most comics here. So I think that'd be the biggest barrier, is just to see whether your comic is a good fit. And then, I think engaging the locals, I think that's the way to go, because Marvel kind of sells itself. Like they come to Marvel, but then if you're making comics and you're making your own comics, you have to kind of go out there and do more of like a grassroots type thing and get to know the people and engage with them.
Matteo, what do you think? You have a more international perspective on this. What are your thoughts?
Oh, he's muted.
Okay.
Can't hear you, Matteo.
Sorry, guys. Here we are. No, I totally agree with Darren and Sean, and I can add that, of course, you guys have a lot to do. And in order to even better engage your audience, since there is no real actual distribution now, use social media and use some motion comics, use some animation as well, some very tiny short videos, little tiny animations created directly using the very same comic book boards you create, and use those in order to better market your product. Animation really works. It's engaging. Everybody loves animation, so use it together with.
Yeah, and they were enraptured with your animation, Matteo. They loved it. They thought it was great. Mariam gives a shout out to Vantage In-House. That's a great question. Culturally, there's such a topic around staying away from images / drawing / photos with eyes. I'm not sure what that means. What does that mean? There's a topic around staying away from images, drawing photos with eyes. So I don't know what that means, but I will take it from you, Mariam, because you are very smart. And then I tried to be Darren, but on very short notice, maybe next time. You could there is definitely a remorse from artists who were like, wait, this looked way better, so they were able to make some time. Okay, so we're getting close to the end. No, that's not it. This is it. We're getting close to the end. One of my favorite photos. They asked me to sign their. One asked me, and I was like, "Are you sure this is a paint pen?" And girl was like, "Yeah." And then our other two friends came up, and I said, "I love this show." Like,
buddy, what do you think
one,
your dad said when they saw that?
That's why I'm glad we got out of Morocco when we did.
Who is this buddy?
And then I spent the rest of the weekend trying to sign Sean's face, but he's too quick for me. Sean, we were signing a lot of stuff, right? Like we were signing phones. At first, it started as phone cases, and then they were like, "Oh, I don't have a phone case. Sign the phone." I'm like, "Sign the phone."
Yeah. This one guy had a dress shirt on, like a white shirt. He asked me to sign his shirt, like right there. So I figured everyone else was going to sign it too, but I saw him later and there was no other signatures on there. I'm like, what the hell?
You just wanted Darren.
That's a Darren Sanchez special. And then it was just a language thing. He actually said, "Do you like my shirt?" And then Darren signed it. All right. What they said, culture in Morocco, there's more drawings without eyes. I forget why, but I'll look it up and we'll share. Okay. So that's good to know. And then you got to catch Sean while he's asleep. Sean never slept. I think that was part of the problem. We would try to sneak into his room and pull a prank on him, but he was too quick for us. He didn't sleep. All right. What do we got here? Okay. We did enjoy meals together. So we had a little bit of fun there. We went into Morocco several times. We did talk about our guide. That's Yamina right there. She helped us shop in first Casablanca and then Marrakesh. And once again, our safety guy who just Eunice kept us safe and moving around at all times. Eunice, I think, you could see that, like, as he walked through there, that guy feared nothing. Like, that guy had literally no fear. I was like, yeah, he was there. There was a point, guys, when we were walking through the square. First, I see a monkey, and I'm like, oh, there's a monkey. Okay, I knew there'd be a monkey. And then I saw a snake charmer. I don't know why I'm doing this. I saw a snake charmer and a cobra. And I thought if we were at Garden State Plaza in Paramus and we saw a cobra, we'd evacuate the mall, right? Like everybody'd be running and screaming, "There's a cobra." Right there, there's people like throwing down money and doing whatever. So it was a totally different cultural experience.
There wasn't just one cobra. There was like 4 or 5 of them just splatted out on the sidewalk, and they were under shade because it was a little bit hot, but there was all the music going on. And it's like, if you weren't paying attention while you're walking through the square, you could literally walk right into the cobras, I think, because there was no security, there was no fence, there was no nothing. There was just cobras like in the middle of the area.
Yeah, and I took one home.
Now, true or false, Matteo, if you're eating a cobra and it hits the floor and it's on the ground less than 2 seconds, you can eat it, right? 2-second rule?
Of course.
Matteo actually very much exercised the 2-second rule or 3-second rule. Got that one guy from Louisiana. I'm not aware what we were referencing with that, but we're almost done with our photos. It was an amazing country. We saw some brilliant sights. Our camera rolls are full of images. Thank you, everybody, for contributing your photos. But now I'm going to ask the group. Oh, I just thought this was really cool. Some photos. Marrakesh. All right. So, guys, I'm going to ask you guys each one by one this question. And we're gonna pull us back up here on screen. No, we're going to use this one. Oh, that's even better. All right. Starting from the guy who led us across the globe, Darren, what should comic creators know about Morocco?
Well, Morocco is not what you think it is. It's a place where there's a lot of smart people who are really into the comic book culture. They love what we do, and we really should bring more to them and make more stuff for them. And if you hear from me or Buddy asking you to go to the show, you should probably say yes, because it's really worth it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Matteo, I'm going to go to you next. What should comic creators know about Morocco?
They should know Morocco, and they should know better about Morocco, the culture, the ancient mythology related to their culture, their religion. There's a lot going on there that we from other Western countries, we really do not know anything about. And not only it's a very, very fascinating and super interesting story they can tell, but it's also very important to know their story, because we have very different kind of cultures and religions and stuff. So when you know more, you can really create better stories, and you have to make sure that you respect their culture, their traditions, everything they do, everything they are, because it's a very particular kind of country, an amazing country, beautiful people, but you have to know them better.
Oh, that's great. And then Sean, same question. What should comic creators know about Morocco?
Mostly that it's an area that's kind of underserved with comics, and the Marvel movies has kind of thrown the door wide open, so they're receptive to it. Comics are an international medium where it's, for the most part, you can tell the story with pictures, and then they're receptive to stories that we can tell, and it's all new, kind of like virgin territory to kind of tell stories to people, and the area, the people, and the sites and everything, to get to know that, because there's a lot of rich history and lore that you can build off of, and there's a lot of stories you can tell. So yeah, definitely, I think if you can get down there, go there, and tell stories there.
One other thing, Buddy, I think you should be able to find it on a map. I think that's important, because
me personally, because I don't think I could.
Honestly, when we were getting ready to go, I had to look up exactly where it was. It's North Africa, right across from Spain. You can actually see Spain on a clear day, so if you didn't know that, that's where it is.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, guys, I think we recognize that there is truly an untapped market. Okay, there's no infrastructure there. There's not a lot of traditional comic shops. However, they do have access to the internet and digital and ordering. I think there is an opportunity to translate our comics, but also, as Darren, you noted, most of the people that we met spoke English. So I think they're hungry for content. And comic creators should be mindful of the fact that maybe you take a trip there and you do what we did, which was we built our audience. And speaking of building audience, we'll start with you, Sean. Sean, where can they find you on the internet? I think you occasionally post on Instagram, right?
Just daily. Instagram, the handle is @SeanChenArt. So yeah, check it out. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff. One of the best comic. Oh yeah, he made that. That's great. You did a great job with that. If you watch Sean's stuff, you will see that Sean has a very very funny sense of humor. Matteo, tell us where they can find you.
They can find me same thing. Instagram is fine, @Matteo Stanzani, the Instagram channel, and this is it.
Love it. Hey, Darren, you post on social about once a year. Where can they find you?
Yes, I'm terrible on social, I admit it, but Instagram, it's @FDarrenSanch without the EZ. So FDarrenSanch.
Yeah, F Darren. That's what I always say every
That's
time
right.
We're talking about them like F Darren. Mike, you don't use the socials, do you? You just everyone.
Not much. You can find me here every Tuesday.
Mike, what are your thoughts now that you've seen you've been sort of the observer in our adventure? What are your thoughts?
It seems like a great place to go and an open market for anybody to jump on in and start creating their own comics.
Certainly is. We got some comments from the audience. It says Philip Burnett. So all those pictures will be in the next comic artist photo reference book, right? That is absolutely correct, Philip. And Sean and I were observing all of the amazing architecture, right, Sean? The architecture is so distinct.
Yeah, absolutely. You can also see it in all the. I mean, what we know is the Hollywood version of it. So it's actually nice to go there and actually go to a place in person. But
yeah, you really get a flavor. Maryam wanted to explain herself. She said, "No eyes." Jinn, along with the saints, figure heavily into Moroccan folklore due to the influences from early animism as well as reinforcement in the belief in jinn found in the Quran, supernatural jinn/devil. I read all the words. I'm not 100% sure what they all meant, but it seemed like she had really looked at it. But she does agree. There's an untapped part. The jinn has always been a comic waiting to happen. My and them, lol. Sean, it sounds like you're nodding your head. Are you going to be creating?
It sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I gotta look it up.
I think we all have to do work. That Batman is amazing. What Batman?
Batman.
Oh, Sean's Batman. Sean's Batman. Hold on. Let's go full screen on this because I feel like they deserve it, Sean.
Someday you go.
So yeah, if you know where that's from, you're an old person.
Yeah.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
There you go. Darren nailed it. And guys, you all nailed it. Thank you so much all for joining us here tonight. We're going to put you in the green room. Mike, what kind of food do we have reserved in the back of the green room?
Well, today, since we have special guests, we have pizza topped with Twizzlers.
Ooh, wow.
Yep.
And since we traveled to Morocco, I brought home in my luggage some lamb. So beautiful brown sauce lamb. It's been there waiting since we got back 2 weeks ago. So help yourself to as much as you want. Clean you right out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have some couscous in my backpack, but I'm waiting for Friday. So
Couscous Friday.
Friday is couscous day. Listen, we're going to put you guys in the back room. Matteo, you're going first. Thank you so much for dropping by. Sean Chen, we always love to see you. You're always the best. And wave to Julia for us in the background. Julia, good to see you there. There it is, crushing your head. Good. Right out and put her in the background. Good. Darren, you pulled off a magical moment for all of us. You deserve a round of applause. Hold on, Mike. Stand by. We're gonna give him the applause. Thank you, Darren. All right. So, Mike, we had a pretty amazing trip. It was it was a true experience, and what the experience did for me was it really opened my eyes to the possibilities of setting stories in different locations, in the possibilities of using different types of characters that I hadn't thought about, and just thinking like, wow, is there a way for me to get my stories to a new audience? And I think to me, the most important thing now is to think about how do we find our way into that marketplace so that our stories stretch across the ocean.
Yeah, and now that you've been there, just imagine all the other places that don't have comics that you could go and visit and pitch to.
I would agree with you. That's a correct answer. So it was a good show, and Sean is drawing us right now into Instagram. How many followers do you have right now, Sean?
63,000 maybe.
Yeah.
That's okay. All right.
He's like 63,000. I just hit 1,000, Mike. He's like,
I think I have maybe 6.
yeah, his over under is bigger than my whole audience. All right, Mike, we had a really great time. We want people to remember that they should do the things, which is like, comment, and subscribe. We need all the help we can get. And we look forward to seeing you guys again next Tuesday. Mike, I don't know what we're doing next Tuesday, but I'm sure it'll be terrific. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. See you guys.